Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021-22 Joint Budget Subcommittee on Economic Development. My name is Senator Anna Kaplan, and I am chair of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Economic Development, and Small Business. And I'm glad to be joined by Assembly counterpart, Assembly Member Harry Bronson. This year's budget is perhaps the most important budget any one of us here will ever have the privilege of working on. The coronavirus pandemic has taken the lives of thousands of our neighbors and dealt a shocking economic blow to our state and our nation. Particularly, our small businesses have been crushed during this period. And so it's important that this budget appropriately invest in keeping our small businesses open and thriving so that our economy can recover and our residents can get back to work. I am proud that along with my co-chair, Assemblymember Bronstein, we already took action to protect New Yorkers' small businesses from the threat of foreclosure and eviction. But we need to take further action to help them with the back rent and help them to make up for lost revenue. This budget proposal will ensure that our small businesses get the help they desperately need through commercial rent relief and direct grant programs. With the need for innovation and new business development greater than ever, now is the time that we should be investing in programs that diversify our economy and create the jobs of the future. So in this budget, we saved the Centers of Excellence program and increased their funding. And we increased the funding for the Centers of Advanced Technology because these are both programs that contribute immensely to our state's economic growth and vitality. And we need to give them the resources they need. And when our small minority and women-owned businesses have been particularly hard hit, this budget provides additional funding for the state's MWBE program so that we can ensure minority and women-owned small businesses have the tools they need to grow and thrive. We are at a critical moment in recovery, and I truly believe by making these investments and more, we're going to position the entire state to have a strong recovery from these dark pandemic days. And with that, I would like to pass this to my counterpart, Assemblymember Harry Bronson.
Thank you, Senator Kaplan. You know, as the chair of the Assembly's Committee and for Economic Development and just taking over in that position, I look forward to working with you as we've already started this year, as you pointed out, the bills that we've gotten through, and also look forward to working with all the members of this joint budget subcommittee. You know, as you know, our families are simultaneously facing three crises: the COVID-19 health pandemic, the resulting economic downturn, and racial injustice. COVID-19 pandemic's economic impact on New York has been devastating for some, while others have fared better, and some have actually thrived. Our challenge, especially this year, is to make budgetary investments to not only reopen the economy and re-engage businesses in a healthy and safe manner, but also in a way that is inclusive for everyone, especially our communities of color and other marginalized groups, so they too can share in the economy and can thrive. This means looking at what we do in economic development through a social and racial justice lens. This past year, to contain the spread of COVID-19 and to protect the lives of New Yorkers, measures have been implemented that have had a devastating impact on our state's families, businesses, and the economy. Businesses have endured multiple state-mandated shutdowns, severe capacity and operational restrictions, new costs, and fluctuating consumer confidence. This has resulted in severe unemployment rates for our families. Many of the businesses that once employed our New York families are now closed and may never reopen or recover. Many of New York's small and medium-sized businesses are the heart of our communities, and they are struggling to keep their doors open and their staff employed. It is essential that this year's final budget reflect the critical needs of all sectors of the business community, retain and create jobs, meet the needs of our families, and mend our economy. Now, as we look to reopen and rebuild our state's economy, it is more important than ever to properly leverage the federal COVID-19 relief package. This is why the Assembly's One House proposal includes vital support to reopen our small businesses, nonprofits, and arts institutions. Our robust recovery package includes $1 billion for a small business reopening and relief grant program, which would help small businesses impacted by COVID-19 get back to business. A total of $136 million in new support to arts and cultural organizations. Of this amount, $100 million would support a newly established arts recovery and revitalization program. $25 million for a new I Love New York Restaurants grant program, which will allow local restaurants to provide meals to those in need. And $15 million for a digital inclusion grant program to assist in closing the digital divide. As the senator just mentioned, these are truly unprecedented times, and such times calls for new programs and new approaches that ensure that those who were impacted by the pandemic are not left behind. What we decide in this year's budget will be a stepping stone on the path towards a future economy that is prosperous, that is equitable, and that provides opportunities for all. I look forward to the work we have ahead of us. Senator?
Thank you, Assembly Member. I would like at this point to also introduce my colleague, other senators who sit on this subcommittee on economic development. We have with us Senator Joe Addabbo, Senator Brian Benjamin, Senator James Sanders, Senator Elijah Recklin Melnick, and also Senator George Borrello, and also Senator Mike Martucci. I would ask, in the interest of time, please, if you have, we're more than happy to hear from you, senators, but please keep your comments very limited. Thank you.
And,
Senator Addabbo.
Oh.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead, Assembly.
Senator, I was going to introduce our members first, and then we can go to the comments. So on our side of the Assembly, we have with us Assembly Member Gary Pretlow, Assembly Member Al Sturpey, Assembly Member Steve Otis, Assembly Member Kerry Warner, Assembly Member Jonathan Rivera, and also on the minority side, Assembly Member Christopher Friend and Assembly Member John Sulka.
So I would also like to say that the Secretary for the Senate will be Mehdi Pirani.
And the recording secretary for the Assembly will be Spiro Sakaris.
The following agencies will be considered at the table: Department of Economic Development, Urban Development Corporation, Empire State Development Corporation, New York State Gaming Commission, and Council on the Arts. Now I would like to open the floor to comments from any other senators of the subcommittee that would like to make a statement. Senator Addabbo.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you, Madam Chair, and also Assemblymember Bronson for your efforts. I want to thank all my colleagues and the staff for their efforts throughout the budget process. And I just so appreciative of the opportunity to work with you all as we find the means necessary and incorporate the credible ways that we can get this state back economically, both in the short term and in the long term, while we also look at finding where we can increase, not only protect jobs, but actually increase jobs in certain markets. So I do look forward to the hard work that we have ahead of us, but all for the sake of our people throughout the state, all the people throughout the state. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Addabbo. Assemblymember Bronson, would you like to have one of your colleagues to start?
Sure. Why don't we go with, we will start with Assemblymember Al Sturpey.
Thank you, Chair. I also just want to congratulate all of my colleagues. We spent a lot of time over the past year in many, many hearings, reaching out to our constituents, trying to get ideas to put together packages that we know will be truly helpful. And time again, the thing they reminded us of, it was no longer time for any more loans. There was no ability to pay back loans. They needed grants. And I'm proud of what the Assembly One House does, providing $1 billion of grants. And I'm just sure that over the next couple of weeks, we will find out of both one houses the best way to go and make sure that New York State businesses get back on track. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Benjamin, you're next. Senator Benjamin?
Senator Kaplan, Senator Benjamin may not be able to hop in.
No problem. So we'll go to Senator Sanders, please.
Thank you, Chair Kaplan. Thank you, Chair Bronski. It is a pleasure to join with my colleagues again to do the work of the people. The state of New York has been, like the rest of the country, has been racked by twin pandemics. You have the pandemic of COVID-19 and the pandemic of racial and economic inequality. And we are here trying to deal with that. A budget is a place where the people's representatives chart the course of the state. This is where we are charting a fight back against COVID and a fight back against economic inequality. Let me give you some of just a flavor of the inequality. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York did a study on Black businesses that revealed that 40% of Black businesses nationwide had shuttered by August last year. 40% was gone by August. So I'm estimating that perhaps 60 to 70% of all Black businesses are gone as of today. And that means that we need to act and act decisively. I have faith that Leader Stewart Cousins and Chair Kaplan are going to help chart and make a direction where we are doing a credible fight back. I end with the words of Langston Hughes, one of America's foremost writers, poets, and Renaissance men. And he said that America should be America for everybody, him too. Let this budget be a way of America or New York being New York for everybody. Thank you very much to the chairs.
Thank you, Senator. And just so people know, my last name is Bronson. Bronstein is my colleague who happens to be the taller, younger member from Queens, okay? So it's a very, very common mistake. And yeah, I'm gonna ask my members on this side, if you do wanna speak, please use the raise hand function and I'll call on you. And we do have Assembly Member Steve Otis who has raised his hand.
Thank you, Chair Bronson. And also Senator Kaplan, a good friend. What strikes me about this special moment in time is more than any other budget year, businesses in our state are really continue to be at very high risk. And they're looking for us to marshal a program that is going to make sure that businesses on the cusp, businesses that still exist but maybe are at risk of failing in the next few months, that we provide them targeted relief so that they can continue and they can continue employ people and do good things in their community. And I think that the common theme in the One House packages that both houses have put forth is a real commitment towards grants, a real commitment towards targeting those grants to the kinds of issues and businesses that really need help. And as has been mentioned, so some of the businesses that have been hurt the most and are most at risk are women and minority businesses. And we have to make sure that we pay attention to that. But I will tell you, I am optimistic because there is a real sense that we're going in the same direction, and that I believe that within this conference committee, we can work out a program that everybody in the state will benefit from. I am very pleased to be part of this group and our work in the next few days.
Thank you. Next to speak is my colleague, Senator George Borrello.
Thank you, Chair Kaplan, and also Chair Bronson. Appreciate to be here and be a part of this. As a small business owner myself, I'm proud to be here to be their voice, the backbone of our economy, and they employ millions of people in New York State. I'm certainly, I agree that we need to do what we can to support our businesses, and grants and loans are great, but what we really need to do is to restore our economy and to lift the burdens that we have put on our businesses, most of which were in place even prior to the pandemic. That needs to be our priority to reignite this economy here in New York. New taxes, new regulations, new fees are only going to continue the mass exodus of our state that we're seeing and continue to drive our economy into what hopefully would never be a perpetual recession. We've had for years supported things in our chambers that would do that. However, we have now been burdening businesses with things like a tax on broadband, which is really stifling the ability for people to be able to work and learn from home. We need to remove the fiber optic tax that is killing projects across New York State, particularly in the rural areas like those that I represent. If there's one thing the pandemic has shown us is that people can live and work anywhere. And unfortunately, many of those folks are choosing to leave New York State. We have a state that is among the highest in its tax burden, among the highest in its regulatory burden, and is now increasingly unsafe. So we need to restore not only the economic engine of our state, but also ensure that people want to remain and move back to New York. It's a Herculean task, and I believe that we have to be focused on that. I'll say, as a member of the hospitality industry, probably the hardest hit in New York State, according to the New York Restaurant Association, about 50% of all restaurants in New York, most of which are small businesses, have closed and will likely never reopen. We have an obligation to those people and the families that they support to ensure that we lift the burden, reduce taxes, and ensure that New Yorkers can not just survive, but thrive here in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you. Assemblymember Bronson.
Yes, I have next with her hand raised, Assemblymember Carrie Warner.
Thank you, Chair Bronson. Thank you, Chair Kaplan. It is a pleasure to be in your company and working with you collaboratively as we craft an economic development budget for New York State in the next year. You know, the area that I represent is filled with small businesses. We are a major tourist destination. Our restaurants, our arts venues, and our famous racetrack bring people from across the globe to upstate New York, some of whom choose to stay here and form their own small businesses. It is critical that we focus, as all of you have said, on revitalizing our hospitality sector, our restaurants, our arts venues, and bringing that sector back. It is a major employer across the state, not just where in the part of the state that I live in. But we need to do more than that. We need to focus on entrepreneurship, on unleashing the power of the creative minds that we have in New York State, of helping to encourage them to invest in their own future, to not just seek to get a job, but to make a job, one that is the culmination of their skills and abilities and experiences, and can be the potential next great business to take the world by storm. And to do that, we need an infrastructure, a financial infrastructure of grants and targeted financing. But perhaps the biggest thing that we need, and I'm going to just pick up where Senator Borrello left off, broadband. We have learned to our great chagrin how very important this technology is as an infrastructure for supporting economic growth in our state. And the monies that the Assembly has put into its one house to finally do an accurate mapping of just where broadband exists and doesn't exist, to give us a roadmap for where we need to make investments in building out that infrastructure is absolutely crucial. And as the center of New York racing, I would be remiss in not saying that I also hope that this committee will be a champion for mobile sports gaming as we go forward. The great work that Assemblyman Pretlow and Senator Addabbo have done to launch New York State into the mobile gaming market, I think will be a very critical platform for both additional economic activity in the state, but also that entrepreneurship, young people getting into the business of building those platforms. So I look forward to working with you over the next couple of weeks as we craft a final state budget. And thank you all very much.
Okay, Senator.
Thank you. Next, we have Senator Elijah Reckland-Melnick.
Thank you, Chair Kaplan, and thank you, Chair Bronson. I just want to, compliment the Assembly and the Senate on proposing budget resolutions, which are going to do so much for the economic development and support of small businesses throughout our state. And I want to echo the comments that Assemblywoman Warner just made regarding broadband mapping. This is an incredibly important bill, which unfortunately was vetoed last year, pocket vetoed by the governor. I think that we need to include this in both budgets, in our final budget, and provide the funding to make sure we get it done and done right. It's going to impact many people all over the state, some in my district, many in other districts, but this doesn't have to depend on where we represent. This is something that's in the good, best interests of all New Yorkers. So I just want to put a specific vote in for that, and thank you for leading this conference committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have next Assembly Member Jonathan Rivera.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. I just wanted to thank both of the chairs for bringing us here together, and obviously the heads of both of our houses. And this is my first go around at this, so I'm obviously excited to learn as much as I can and to witness as much as I can. And if there's one thing I'm drawing on from my own experiences, prior to coming here to the Assembly, one of my jobs before here was I was a neighborhood banker. And what I learned in that is that when times are tough, there's really two schools of thought. And when times are tough, especially when it comes to the economics of neighborhoods and communities, those two schools of thoughts will either be to scale back, to retreat, to isolate, to sort of hold on to what you have and not really move on your assets. But the other school of thought is to invest. It's to double down. It's the thought that you're believing that we sow seeds to reap longer term harvests. And I look forward to the work that we're going to do, because I believe we're called and we are elected to sort of pursue the latter, and that's to invest. And it sounds a bit corny, but I'm a believer that when you invest in New York, when you invest in New Yorkers, that it's the best investment we can do, because we know what kind of state this is and we know what kind of people we serve. So excited to be helpful and excited to learn as much as I can. So thank you.
Thank you.
Assembly Bronson, I don't have anyone else, so please go ahead and include all your members now.
Okay, thank you, Senator. And we do have one other member, ranker of the Assembly's Committee on Economic Development, Assembly Member Christopher Friend.
Thank you, Chairs Bronson and Chair Kaplan. Just like to point out that the Tax Foundation in 2021 gave the state business tax climate in New York a ranking of 48. CNBC, America's top state for business in 2019, ranks New York 42nd for the cost of business. Forbes 2019 Best State for Business report, New York ranks 34th for regulatory environment. And the 2020 Thumbtack Small Business Friendliness Survey, New York got a grade of D for support of small businesses during COVID-19. The pandemic has definitely caused a great rift between our small businesses and the big corporations. And that wasn't due to the businesses themselves, but the fact that government came in and shut down small businesses. You could go into a big box store like Walmart and buy plants, but the neighborhood nursery was shut down. They weren't allowed to sell plants. That was because of government. That was because of the regulations that we've put in place. In the Assembly minority, we have a great program that we put together, and it's called Jumpstart New York. It's an initiative that will serve as a blueprint for short and long-term economic relief for the state's small businesses in an effort to make it more robust and inclusive for those that it seeks to help. With the help of federal and state partners, Jumpstart New York offers a path to financial relief and protections for small businesses and their employees and a brighter future for New Yorkers. We also offer another program for our agriculture sector, which we call the New York Food Insecurity, Farm Resiliency, and Rural Poverty Act. This will integrate Nourish New York into a broader $35 million effort to revitalize New York agriculture, as well as strengthen the state's food supply chain and promote economic development while delivering New York agricultural products to those who need them. Funding is designated for the following areas, including infrastructure improvements for farms and regional food bank facilities, cold storage equipment purchases by local food pantries and nonprofits, transportation equipment, including fuel cost reimbursements, personal service cost assistance, purchasing assistance for regional food banks to purchase New York agricultural goods, and grants to assist new farmers, veteran farmers, and disabled persons who would like to enter into or remain involved in New York agriculture. One of the important parts of this program also is the fact that we allow for more food processing to occur across the state. And that was one of the issues very early on with trying to get meat within the state from the people that were producing meat to the people that wanted to consume it. So this also would allow for a greater production within our meat processing states or facilities within the state. We have a rare opportunity right now with the $24 billion coming from the federal government and the fact that we saw increased tax receipts beyond what we anticipated. And I think it would be really disadvantageous for us to go ahead and increase taxes without first reducing those regulations to get all of our businesses back up and running, especially the small businesses all across our state. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that both houses put in a program like the Small Business Reopening and Relief Grant Program in the Assembly One House bill. But I want to make sure that this isn't just left up to Empire State Development, that this has some sort of equitable distribution that's transparent so that every small business has an opportunity to get back and reopen and get their employees back to work. I think we have a great opportunity here to change how we've been operating. And instead of being ranked in the 48th and 49th, to start moving down to the first, second, and third. Several years ago, we reduced the taxes for part of our manufacturing sector. As soon as we did that, we saw an increase in our manufacturing within the state. Those type of issues, those type of changes are what are really needed at this point to get our economy back and running. So I look forward to working with everybody on this committee, and hopefully we can have a very positive bipartisan effort going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Friend. So we're not going to close up. I'll just mention, remember, we do not have the table target yet. And despite that, we will continue to have conversations and try to move forward and try to resolve any open issues that we have between the Assembly and the Senate in the area of economic development and the New York State Gaming Commission. And again, I look forward to working with all of you, in particular co-chair Senator Kaplan. So Senator, with closing remarks?
Yes, I just want to thank you, Assembly Member Bronson, for your help and your leadership. I want to thank all my colleagues for their hard work. And I want to thank our Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who understands the pain of the small businesses and what they've been through this whole year. There are really amazing solutions in this budget for the small businesses. We all understand that they are the backbone of New York and that we all have to champion and try to get them the relief that they need. And I look forward to working with everyone in the next 2 weeks to come into building a strong consensus and provide the help to all these small businesses. With that, if you have any other closing remarks, would love to hear that. If not, we can go ahead and adjourn.
I'm ready to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.